Hi everyone, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. This is Melanie and we are continuing on with my craft room reorganization purging process. And dare I say it, I think today I might be ready to tackle paper. Now, paper is probably going to take me a while to go through because I have a lot of it and I love it and I have a hard time getting rid of it. But anyways, I'm going to show you kind of where the paper is sort of collected and what my method to my current madness is and what's working, what's not working, etc. Okay, so down here on these bottom shelves, so it's this, you know, almost 2 sections, is all 8.5 by 11 paper. Then down here I have 12 by 12, and then I have some collections, and they're not necessarily full collections, but they're enough pieces that I feel I want to keep together, and also included down there is chipboard, the 12 by 12 chipboard. Okay, so that's the first section, and I like this setup for the most part. The only thing I'm not super happy with is I have some specialty paper and I have it kind of tucked over here at the end and I forget about it. So I need to come up with a better way of remembering what I'm using for specialty paper. So that's something to keep in mind. Up here in these clamshell cases or these other cases that I've gotten from Daiso are kits. Some of these are empty. Some of them have kit information in here. So what I would like to do is go through these and figure out which ones I want to use as kits and which ones I want to dismantle and disperse amongst my the rest of my stash. In here is some specialty items, and I have labeled them, but I clearly haven't labeled everything else, and I have empty containers. So I would like to at least have everything somehow flagged so I know what's empty, room to grow, and what is not. My 6x6 paper pad, that might be a video all in itself. Okay, and then down here are kits as well as collections or larger collections that don't, they're bigger than what I would normally put over here. Okay, and I've got some iris containers, which is where I tried for a bit to store the current kit I'm working on, and it's got those divided trays. I'll show you that later. I'm not sure if I like that, and it takes up a lot of room, so we need to reevaluate that. Then I've got cardstock here. This is extra cardstock, unopened. I called this Severely back last fall. It used to be almost the whole shelf, and I'm happy with what I've got there. I will not be changing anything with that. These are some embroidery things that need to go up in the top, and I've got a couple large paper pads that need a home. Now, my closet. So this is also collections. So if I get a series of things from a particular line, I put them in a Ziploc bag and I hang them on the hanger, and this is how I store them, and I can easily flip through, see what I've got, etc. I love this. This works fantastic. The thing I want to do is I want to see if anything in here can go up in here. Okay, that's typically more card related stuff. This is typically more scrapbooking. But like for instance, some of this doodlebug stuff, maybe I can move up there. The other thing is from about here on, these are all projects, either scrapbook albums, etc. And again, I went through these quite a bit last fall, so I think I will probably keep most of those, but I want to change how I'm storing them, I think. And here's my reasoning. I want to try and keep more like with like. So if these are all my kits slash paper collections, then why do I have a whole bunch down here? So I think I want to move these up here and keep them all together. I also want to go through some of these and see if maybe some of them should be dismantled. Okay? Okay, that's that. Now, let me change you over to the other side of the closet and we'll talk about what paper I have there. Okay, so this tower of iris cards, which I absolutely love, and this is my preferred way of using the iris containers, contains my themed, what I'm calling themed paper, and that goes down all the way till about here, and then down below that is accessories or embellishments, so felt, foil, chipboard, etc. So I did go through this quite a bit, but I think I could probably go through it again and cull some of it. Okay, and that pretty much for the most part is the paper that I have as far as crafting goes. I do have here some paper. This is stuff I keep for making envelopes or decorating envelopes, so there might be more stuff that goes in here. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention I've got my stack of printer paper and fancier, nicer paper for printing things like traveler's notebooks, and I think there is some cardstock there as well. So I need to deal with that. And that reminds me, I do have paper one other spot. Okay, so this is behind my desk or table on the Alex drawer units, and I have two envelopes here with some Nina Solar White, and I can't remember what this one is. Oh, Spectrum Noir, and maybe another brand. I'm not sure. Those are papers I use a lot, and that's why they've moved over here. So I need to just assess if I want to keep that or exactly how I'm going to handle that. So that's the summary of what's what, and now let's get to it. Okay, so I opted to start with the 6x6 paper pads, and actually there might be a few larger sizes in here like this 6x8 paper pad, just because it's a finite amount, and I think it works. I mean, I think I can get through it pretty quickly. So for the most part, I keep my 6x6 pads in these useful boxes or these close to my heart stamps, stamp boxes, and I actually really like these, and I think I might replace them. Here's why I like them. I keep this on the top shelf of my bookshelf, so when I want to look at them, I can just pull this down. It's not too heavy. It has some dividers in it, so I could sort things accordingly. And yeah, it holds them and takes care of them really well, keeps the dust off them, etc. The useful boxes work okay, but I don't feel, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work as ideally, and I can't put the lids on these. But let's be real, right now, for today, this is what I have for storage. I don't think I have anything else that I can replace with. So I think we're just gonna leave it as is. So I like to store my paper along the lines of how I think I would use them. So mostly it's thematic, meaning like if I've got Christmas paper, I want Christmas in one section. If it's generic, I would put that somewhere else. And if, yeah, basically that's what I'm looking at. So when I did my purge last year, I went through a lot of the paper pads, and if I kind of liked them but didn't love them, I kept like half the sheets, okay? And then the rest of them I donated to somebody else, donated them. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of look through what I've got again, remind myself what's here, and then we will sort, or I'll figure out a way that I want to sort them. And I do need to label, because right now I have no labels, I have no dividers, and I have no idea of what I have. So let's start unboxing, going through, finding out what I've got, and going from there. Okay, so the first thing I've got is this Craft Perfect. It says perfect for coloring with Nuvo Aquaflow with the brush script pens. Okay, so is this like a watercolor? Oh, these are card blanks. This is not even 6x6. This came in one of the Tonic Studio kits. So look at me for not checking this out. Okay, so here's some envelopes. These are card toppers, so just something that you want to put on top of the card. And then I have these, they look like doilies or mandalas. What do we got here? 1, 2. That's a different one. It looks like you get 2 of each pattern. Okay, and I think the idea behind this is you can add color. Okay, so to me, this does not belong with the 6x6 paper pads. And what I would probably do with this is make this into a project. So one Saturday I will just decide to use this whole thing and make a bunch of cards and then be done with it. So I'm going to move this over into my project section and we will deal with that there. Okay. This is the paper pad I showed you earlier. It's kind of got a wintry-ish theme, but it could be for any season. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one. We're just going to put that to the side. This is a notepad of neutrals, and it's 6x8, which is an odd size, so I'm not going to put those in the containers. Okay, so I've got Snap. See, this is, I mean, I'm a lazy crafter, you guys. So the more I can make it less cumbersome for me, the better. And this is one of those things where if I have to get into packaging, it's not going to happen. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's just the way I am. This is Simple Stories, and it's kind of got a floral spring kind of theme to it. So we're going to call this one Neutrals, we're going to call this one Florals. Okay, this is from Gina K, and this is just 6x6 paper, and it's kind of got an autumnal feel to it. And actually this is very autumn feeling, and so what I'm going to do in this case, I think, I don't know, you guys. I think I'm just going to leave it in the bag, but I'm going to do the same thing. See, I don't like the sticky parts, so we're just going to glue that back down. And okay, so now this way I can get into it easier. Okay, so autumn. I've got more neutrals. That goes there. This one here from Kaiser Craft is very much Christmas, and I've used a few pieces from this. So this is the other thing I do. I'll remove that because it's sticky. Is I try and keep the paper pads together as long as possible, and I will put them in the containers upside down, and then any scraps I just put in here. Yes, I could cut them up and throw them in with my scrap bin, but if the scraps are big enough in this case, I don't mind doing it that way. This was a Concord and Ninth pack of paper that I got with a stamp set, and I think it coordinates with it. Yeah, it does. So you know what I'm going to do with this one is the same thing with the other, because it's so very specific and it goes with a specific kit. I'm going to use it to make some cards, and then whatever's left over I will deal with accordingly. This is another Kaiser Craft paper pad, and it's like all these neutral wood grains. This is a beautiful pad of paper. So we'll put that in with my generics. Actually, that's 6.5. Why did they do that? Okay, and then I've got a bunch of individual not paper pads. What's this? This is Heidi Swap Foil, mink foil paper. Okay, so that's specialty. I will probably just let's trim this. Because again, I hate packaging. Okay, so this is stuff that it's specialty paper in that you can do a special treatment with it. So I don't want to just mix it in and forget that that's what that's for. So I'm just going to put this aside in another pile. Okay, so I'm just going to speed up through this. Basically, all I'm doing is going through all my individual loose 6x6 papers as well as paper pads, and I'm sorting them into categories. And so by categories, you've heard me already say neutrals or general or basics. Basically, what I'm considering that is any kind of neutral pattern or generic pattern that's not a particular theme, which I'm then going to sort into color later on. But I'm looking for things like Christmas, florals, travel, seasonal, specific, that kind of thing, and I'm breaking it out into different categories. So what you see here is what I'm doing, and then any pattern or piece of paper that I don't like or I know is just not my style, I am putting in a purge pile. So I'm gonna let this run, put some music on, and I'll be back with you shortly. Look at you guys. I have 2 of these. What the heck? Great. Must have really loved it, huh? We'll get rid of one. Okay, so this is mixed patterns and this is floral. And I think I could probably fit fall in here and travel. Okay, I like that. So mixed patterns, travel, fall, and florals. I also have Valentines and hearts. Will that fit? Will that fit? It does. Okay. Okay. These 2 were Christmas related, so I think I can fit them in with the Christmas bin. So now this is all Christmas. So I like that. These here are all specialty papers, and I'm going to stick those in with the Lawn Fawn stuff. Okay, so this is going to wrap up the 6x6 purge / reorganization. I've managed to condense everything down to the 4 containers, so I have no overflow. I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and I'm going to show you here shortly what I am getting rid of. It's not a ton, but it's a start. So until next time, happy crafting.